Welcome to Take It from the Iron Woman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Iron Woman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Iron Woman to impress the world. Take it from the Iron Woman. We only have special guests, and today we go to Marelda Rodrigues. We met at a mingle event, a virtual event, hosted by Donna Cravatta. I always would like to give her a shout out, the real 50 over 50. But we want to talk about what Marelda is doing, what her calling is. I think I would like to call it, it's calling. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your passion and your calling.
Thank you, Suzanne, first of all, for having me here and allowing me to share some of what I hope to bring into the world, and that is helping women in midlife really become comfortable with their new lifestyle in menopause. Yes, you are right. It is a calling because unlike a hobby class, which you're interested in, you're indulging in, you're learning, and then you move on, this has actually kept me seated and gripped in my chair. so I know it's a calling. I'm completing about 26 years in the wellness space. While I was in my corporate career as an HR professional, I came in through the side door of massage therapy. It was really because I felt very restless in my HR life. I was doing really well. I was very stimulated in my brain, but for some reason, I felt really empty and hollow when I came home, and I couldn't figure out why. I sat down one day and I just asked, I don't know how I had the wisdom to ask my soul to help me. I said, I don't know why you're so restless, so maybe you can show me or tell me what I need to do. And the next day, I was headed to my office and I realized there was a massage school. And the next thing I knew, I was driving to the massage school. I looked around and, of course, I didn't realize that I have loved the human body since I was a little girl. I used to look at all kinds of science books and body books, and this is your ear, this is your leg, starting with that, to all the disease books. At 8 years old, I used to be like, Mom, do I have this disease? And she'd be like, oh my God, can you please go read a different book? Or I'd say, do you and Dad have this disease? That's how I was. And then in my teen years, I became very interested in genetic science. So when my classmates were out playing at recess, I was doing genetic math on my books. I just was fascinated. I was just like, how does this happen? How does the world know how to do this? So that part, of course, went into the background with college and finding your job and all this other stuff until this trip to the massage school. The day before I was going to turn in my application, my assistant came to me and she said, you should go to this other school and check it out. And I thought, how is that? There are 2 massage schools by my office. That is definitely a sign. Who has 2 massage schools right by their office? So I go to the other massage school. And as an HR professional, there were 2 things I would say to my employees or whoever came for help. First thing I would say is breathe. Just breathe for a second. And the second thing I would say to them is obstacles are what you see when you take your eyes off the goal. So when I went to this new school, I was met by the director of admissions, who was one of the owners of the school. And he said, would you like to take a tour and see the classrooms? I said, sure. What struck me is that there were 3 classrooms, and in each of the classroom were 2 signs. The first one said breathe, and the second one said adversity is what you see when you take your eyes off the goal. I was so shocked. I just stood there and I looked at the classrooms because they were partitioned. So all the partitions had been pushed back so you could see all 3 classrooms. I was just so shocked. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm supposed to go to this school.
I think so.
So that's how I ended up. It was a great combination. I was HR by day, massage by evening and weekend with my clients. And I was able to bring the compassion of massage into human resource and take the structure of human resources into my private practice. So it was a great in and out flow. And then a few years later, I moved to Chicago where I'm at, and the laws changed that weren't favorable to massage therapists in a way that was much stricter. I just thought to myself, I never want to be in a profession that is dictated by the legal people. It should be dictated because something changed in the profession. And so when I looked around, I was extremely energized when I found out about this thing called health coach. And so that became my journey going into health coaching from a psychology perspective of changing behavior, learning about nutrition and how to create dietary plans and help clients understand them. And then I wanted something a little more meaty that I could sink my teeth into. And that's when I found functional medicine, which is when I became a functional medicine health coach. And that's my platform now where I've evolved into other pieces.
Interesting. But it seems like you're always touching the humans, human resources, you touch the people. I like what you said. You bring the human resources into the massage and the massage into human resources. It's interconnected, and that's also where the calling comes from.
Very much.
Yeah. And fast forward, where are you today?
Was fall of 2018. I had a client come in. She was an elderly client. I had been doing this for a long time as a massage therapist. And so when I saw her, I thought she was going to say the same thing. Oh, my back hurts, my shoulders hurt, my knee hurts, something hurts, right? And what she said to me just really struck me. She said, my daughter died 2 weeks ago. I don't know how you can help me. And I call that my stop the scroll moment because I was busy saying, you've got this, maybe this. And it was none of that. She just was absolutely looking at me like, what can you do for me? I said, okay, get on the table and I will see you in a moment. And I was standing outside, and this is the spiritual side of me. I just said, universe, I don't know how to help this woman. I'm sure technique wise, I know something, but I don't know what to do for her. So can you help me? And then I went in the room and I put my hands on her. Then I don't remember what happened for 60 minutes. And then it was over. And she said, oh my God, that was the best massage. But I had no idea what had happened. She came back 3 weeks later and she said the same thing. She said, can you do that again? That was great.
What did you do?
I had no idea what had happened because I had left my body, actually. I said, sure, I can. And I said, you get on the table and I'm going to stand outside and I'll wait for you. I'll come back in a moment. And I stood outside and I said, okay, universe, I need you to help me again. I need you to do whatever it is that I did. But this time I'll disassociate and I will watch from above what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Then I was able to capture the choreography, but I didn't know the why. I didn't know the science behind why she was feeling better because it wasn't like anything I had ever done before. Okay, if I go to an emergency room physician and I say, I know there's some grieving members of the family, I can do something for their grief, they're going to ask me, why does this work? I had to find the science behind it. This massage was different. What I ended up finding out is somehow the other side had sent me the message that through massage, if I used the same techniques and science behind weighted blankets, very light, it doesn't crush you, but it's heavy enough that it soothes the nervous system. I had no idea this was the science behind it, but this was the exact translation of what I got. I'm so grateful that I have such a blend of science and spirituality.
Trusting your intuition. That's what I'm sensing here. So you were like, I got to do something. Something happened. You did the right thing. Sometimes when we're pushed in a situation like this, we do the right thing because you have the knowledge. You just need to apply it, even though you don't know what to do.
And so I did that from 2019 to 2024. I just thought my path is grief. It wasn't necessarily bereavement grief. It was any grief coming from any loss. We had the pandemic. People lost a lot during the pandemic. They lost their businesses. They lost their freedoms. Some people's relationships ended. Some people's relationships changed, evolved into something else. Empty nesters, kids are off to college. There was all this different types of grief that I became tuned into. This massage, everyone who came to get it, they were just like, why doesn't everybody know about this? I'm one person of 8 billion people, and I can't touch 8 billion people. So I'm also a massage educator. I used that skill to start teaching massage therapists. I was teaching them, and my goal was someday, if I need to retire or follow a different passion, I don't want to leave everybody hanging. I can send them to my students, which is what started to happen. 2025, I felt some change was in the air, like the clouds were all forming and something was brewing, and I didn't really know what it was. I was out of the country for a little bit. Then when I came back, I attended a viewing of the movie The M Factor, which is about menopause. And I was also going through some really strange changes in my own body, which I had absolutely no idea why they were happening. Even though I was in wellness, a functional medicine health coach, I had never seen these changes. And I started to feel really frail. And I'm thinking, why do I feel like I'm in an 80-year-old's body when I'm actually in a 50-year-old's body? Why is this weakness and frail? Like I'm holding the wall to go down the stairs. It was weird. And come to find out, these were all related to menopause. Around the same time that I went to see this movie, one of the doctors talked about menopause grief. This is where all my worlds came together. I want to talk about like the calling. It was so loud, but I don't think I would have been here had I not been down the road of grief and understanding of the body in grief, not just the concept or the emotion or the counseling or the religious help or whatever it is. It was understanding, if I was your heart, what am I going to say to you? If I'm your brain, what am I going to say to you? If I'm your nervous system, what am I going to say to you? That level of understanding of body psychology in grief is what I now have evolved into menopause. When I speak of menopause, I consider myself a disruptor because I don't come into the space listing all the symptoms like a lot of women do. I come into the space saying you can lead menopause instead of being dragged around by it.
I love that.
It is a mindset, and it is also shifting from what I call symptom talk to sovereignty talk. Women evolve on so many levels. It's not just your reproductive hormones or your reproductive organs. It is your brain changes, which means how you think changes.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many women speak to me of they don't know who their spouse is anymore. I actually had a client ask me if she should divorce her husband. She came in for a massage. She came in for a grief massage and she started telling me, and then she said, in that space, I did not realize at all. I was in my grief mindset and helping her with that. But now when I look back on it, she's in menopause. She's questioning same things that so many women question. Of course, I didn't go back and say, oh, by the way, but I speak in a much broader space about how relationships change, roles change, like we become caregivers for our parents, for example. So many of my friends. But just to see my friends, the grief and menopause coming at the same time, them scrambling without a plan. When I say lead menopause, I'm saying get ahead of it. Just if you were given a project at a job, you wouldn't just start with the middle of the project.
No.
You would have a framework. You would assign the people. You would have the tasks in sequence. You would have the phases of the project. And I believe that it is the same. Maybe it's the HR in me, but I believe it is the same project management that you can lead menopause through with the right resources, with the right beliefs, My new biggest thing is being in community. This is one thing that women struggle with, is being in community in one of the most important phases. It's okay if you had your career and you went out and you did all your things and got your accolades and awards and stuff. But when it comes to menopause, Mother Nature has her own rules. And so you can't come into menopause, lead with your professional life.
With your corporate career thinking.
Yeah. You can lead menopause by understanding what's needed in it and then taking ownership of your health. And that's what I mean by leading. That's what I mean by leading. It's almost like being in collaboration with Mother Nature, not against Mother Nature.
You said, tell me a little bit more about becoming. This is your project for 2026 moving forward?
Yeah, I said a little earlier, I disrupt what people talk about menopause when they start symptom talking. It's not to dismiss anybody, but I believe that menopause is so much bigger than talking about hot flushes and night sweats. That's like standing so close to the tree that you can't see in the landscape. I believe in becoming sovereign and self-governing, meaning I'm the one who determines my relationships. I'm the one who determines my career path or changing whatever I want to change. I'm the one who determines who is on my medical team. If I have Dr. A for 20 years, but that Dr. A does not know how to talk to me in menopause, I have to release Dr. A.
Yeah.
It's just, once again, maybe it's my HR thinking that says if the employee is not performing, you've got to release the employee and bring in the one who can. I feel that when you have a medical team that is on point, tuned into the current trends and conversations about menopause, they are in a better position to help you become self-governing and not following every Instagram reel that you saw about whether it's this treatment or that treatment. You're there saying, what's best for me?
It always should be best for you because everybody is different, and Instagram and other social media platforms, they don't have the answers for that.
Here's where I think self-governance is a bit of a trip up for some women, not all women, is they're not accustomed to, or becoming self-governing is a skill. It's not something most women are comfortable with. They want either their spouse to agree, or they want their kids to agree, or they want their sister to agree, or they want their community to be okay. To be an outlier takes a lot of courage. The women who have taken those steps know what I mean by courage, right? It's not just about being outspoken. It's not just about being first in your industry. It's about diplomacy, vulnerability, being convicted about certain things and standing for them, even when you're swimming upstream. I cannot tell you how many times I have been swimming upstream and then, at night you're just like rolled up in a ball going, I hope I did this right. You're mocking yourself and you're like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But you wake up the next day and you're like, I believe the universe sends you a sign that says that's okay. And I can't tell you how many times when I have questioned myself, I wake up the next day and some meme on social media or somebody's post is, you did the right thing. You need to this and this. I'll just take that as a sign from the universe that I did good.
I love that. I love that. You're giving so much. You're doing massage. It can also take a toll on you. How do you rejuvenate and recharge your batteries?
Such a great question, because I myself went through corporate burnout, which is what led me to depart from corporate America. Once I recovered, I became extremely protective of my time. What I do in that time is really important. As I've gotten older, I have become very protective of my rest. I'm also a former insomniac. I know what it's like to be restless in sleep or have disruptive sleep, stuff like that. And sleep and menopause is one of the biggest. It's so important with the aging process and the recovery of our brain on a daily basis. To me, sleep is number one. Solitude is number two. I will cancel things if I have not had enough solitude to fill my cup. And then I know that my certain things fill my cup, such as I love to cook, I love to eat, and I love to nap. If we can have any one of these three, and of course, I love to get massages or facials. If we can do any of these, those just help to fill my cup. But the solitude, I absolutely will not talk to anybody if I have not filled my solitude cup.
How do you say no to things or?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
My word for this year is unapologetic. I am really rooted in the unapologetic. I don't believe in justifying why I'm not going to show up somewhere. I just say, I'm sorry, I'm unavailable on that day, or I won't be able to make it. I'll catch you another time. To me, no is a complete sentence.
It is a complete sentence. Yeah, I agree with you. Wow. The listeners can only learn from you. I think that solitude time is also very important to me. That's why I'm asking, how can you set those boundaries and really make sure that you get that quiet time to yourself? Because when you're giving so much, you need to recharge.
I also believe that is part of becoming sovereign, is to know your edges, your boundaries, and staying within that space. That is sovereignty.
So you have the 3 S's: sleep, solitude, sovereignty.
Yes.
Focus on the 3 S's. And we always change. That S is an interesting letter. Wow. Marelda, thank you so much for giving us so many insights. And also your journey is inspirational. I couldn't agree more with you with the sleep. If I don't sleep enough, you don't want to be around me. I do not function well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Okay. And sleep well.
You too.
Wow, what a cool conversation. What are you taking away? How many more questions do you have for her? Listen to your intuition. It's about sleep, solitude, and sovereignty. Take it from the Iron Woman. We have episodes every Monday. Come and join us. Come and ask questions. And also Take It from the Iron Woman is the book Global Business Coaching with Sports Parallels. Download it or get it in your local bookstore, and also subscribe and like to this podcast where you're listening to this podcast too. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Take care.